Oh shit. Hello, Wilder. I'm trying to figure out how to display on Discord that I'm streaming. So I don't really want to do an announcement, but I would like people to watch if they would like to. Oh, it does show. Okay. Word. Holy, it's dark. I think it's showing. Yeah, I've got the account hooked up. How are you doing tonight? Are you excited for Aquatic Month? That's true. I should do that. Yeah, I figured as much. That's unfortunate. At least have more time to balance and work on profiles and such. And then if Tidbits comes out, for the next update of Tidbits, it will at least be... I got myself stuck up here. Oh, there we go. At least that way we're not releasing too much at once. I know PTR has been suffering from a content drought for quite some time, but I think we're about to get a lot of really cool things. Help! Okay. Yeah, Sachi is... something's certainly going on with Sachi. I kind of want to do a Sachi profile rewrite. Sachi's kind of been unchanged since the start of the server, and I think it could benefit from something spicy. First, I've been talking to Wilder for some time now. I hope there's not too much of a chat delay. I don't really know how to fix that if there is. I like to talk as people speak to me. I need food. There's a little delay, I know. Don't know if I can fix that. Check. I have it off. Metagaming sending... I'm playing on the low pop server. I doubt I'll be metagamed. But if people want to stream snipe me, I encourage it. Come to the low pop server. Give it some life. Joke. Joke, by the way. Might switch to the high pop server though. I need food. Where is... Can I eat pine cones? No. I might do an events ping. See if people want to come join and ask questions. Might not be a bad idea. Wait, did I add a... Oh, I did add a streams ping. Wait. I thought I added one, I just couldn't remember. Do people actually have this role? Streams, 101. Wow. Event streams. Okay. Word. What kind of questions can you ask? Hi, Mona. You can ask pretty much anything. As long as it's not going to put my life in danger. But you're free to ask anything. If you're going to ask questions about mods, I can't answer ETAs. I can't tell you what's upcoming. I can't tell you the secrets that we have behind the closed doors. But I try to be as open as possible for these streams. But I can answer more PTR things than I can PT things. What is the best spell in Wizard 101? Ooh. I have not made it past like level 86, so I have very limited knowledge. I couldn't tell you any like shadow spells or anything, but it's gotta be Tower Shield, man. That thing has saved my ass so many times. It doesn't do any damage, but keeps me alive. Me and my 5,000 health. Ask about the update on the chat we had about the Utah and adult culling on Death Scars. Utah and adult culling on Death Scars. We're still considering it. We're considering more clan-on-clan violence. I could go into a whole tirade about Utah and potential changes that we're going to make. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to make some adjustments while not like nuking certain things. Adult culling on Death Scars, we are still considering it. I think a majority of the naturalists were like, yeah, sounds interesting. Kind of keeps them in check with each other, but still thinking about it. Has there been any discussion about what to do with the Utah problem and what those discussions look like? Well, there is a Utah problem. There is no way about that. Unfortunately, it is a problem. The reason it's a problem is because if our server has 100 people in it, 30 of those are going to be Utahs. Those 30 people, they could be on, you know, a very remote point in the map. Maybe all those Utahs are down here, you know? Or maybe all the Utahs are somewhere super, super hidden up in Rockfall. And they're enjoying their own time, and, you know, maybe they're not bothering other people. But there's a few cons to that. Some of the Utahs do bother people. Some of the Utahs are consistently hunting things. They are just a big part of the server's ecosystem at the moment. And they have to hunt to survive and everything. I'm not saying Utah shouldn't hunt. I'm not saying they should just survive on critters. But they are kind of an oppressive carnivore. And if they are on these far-off corners of the map, those Utahs are participating in... I'm trying to put this in a way that I'm not trying to like hate on them or anything. I like Utah. I love the model. I like the profile. I've had good experiences in Utah groups. But if everybody's on Utah, it leads to a lot of people not saying anything but Utah. And if the Utahs are super far away from everybody else, it leads to a lot of people saying nothing. It gets kind of old when you walk around a bunch of POIs and the only thing you're seeing is Utah Raptor. That said, I don't mind Utah Raptor. I don't personally feel it's super oppressive. I have an okay time fighting them when I'm hunted by them. Some people feel differently just because they are quick, they're mid-tiers, and they can... Sorry, that was a critter. Some people get very overwhelmed by Utahs, which is fine. One thing that I dislike about the overpopulation of them is that they are a carnivore and they are free to hunt people. It just leads to a lot of repetition of gameplay. It's kind of a little bit of gameplay loop at the moment where you just log in and you're immediately hunted by Utahs. You play a different creature. You pass through the forest and you're hunted by Utahs. You play a different creature in the Badlands and you're hunted by Utahs. You go into the plains and you're safe there, but you have to travel eventually, and then people see more Utahs. So that's one of the things that people are getting stuck on. right now what we are trying to do about the Utahs is we are trying to make other profiles more appealing, because people say that Utah Raptors profile just has so many fun aspects to it and is an appealing profile. I disagree. Personally, I think the profile is pretty standard. It's similar to other behaviors that we have. For example, Latins, they have lead pairs and they have a bit of a social hierarchy, and the lead pairs can be challenged for, so people can fight over the position if they want. They have familial structure. So that's pretty similar. You have Udi, which is very family oriented. Now they don't have like family roles. You don't have, dominant son, dominant daughter. I think that's what appeals to people a little bit. But I feel like these profiles that have like dominant children, play Picno. Challenge your siblings and show that you are the best sibling because you want to stay with mom and dad. Or play Giga, where you and your siblings kind of fight and bicker, and your mom chooses who is her favorite to keep with her for an extended period of time. Play Canto. Canto, exactly. Canto has a very, very intricate family structure. A lot of people don't like playing it because the model isn't the most appealing, and God, I can't believe did they remove this bridge? This bridge is still here? Okay, I'm thinking of the other bridge. People don't really like to play Canto because it's an herbivore, and the model's not the prettiest, and sounds and animations and stuff. But you can't deny that their family structure is complex and it's similar to Utah's, so I don't think it's just a profile thing. And the reason I don't think that is because Utah has had pretty much the exact same profile as it did when we first came out. And when the remodel came, it suddenly boosted in popularity because it is beautiful. You can't say that it's not. It is a beautiful profile, or it's a beautiful model. So that's what draws a lot of people to it. So that's, we're trying to make other profiles more appealing. If that doesn't work, we are probably going to make some changes to the profile. And I'm not trying to punish Utah players. I'm not trying to get people off of the playable. I think I want people to try other things. I don't think they should have as big groups as they currently do. We'll be making some changes to the profile if the tender love and care that we give to other dinosaurs does nothing for the population. But we have a lot of changes coming. There's a lot of exciting things happening to the profiles, and there's going to be a lot of exciting additions to our mod that we are developing. So I think it might get some people off of that dinosaur and onto some others. Why are small dinosaurs so aggressive? Which dinosaurs? I like Utah. People say that they're really hard to fight. I disagree. I don't think they overperform. I don't think they underperform. I think they're kind of like mid from the mid tiers. I don't think they're better or worse than anything else. One sec. Alright, sorry about that. Utah are not OP, they're squishy and lose stand fast. I don't think they're OP. I think the one gripe I have about Utah combat is the fact that they regenerate stand with that crouch ability. I just think it looks really stupid to fight Utah Raptors and they're all just like crouching around you. And it's really annoying because you can't really catch them. And they're just kind of like crouching right in front of you. I just think it looks so stupid. Any details you can share on what trail guides will do in the future? Will they do expeditions similarly in the past? We actually had a naturalist meeting today. Trail guides will kind of be the first step of getting naturalists on board. Trail guides will be making video guides for dinosaurs. They will be making like assisting with documentary-esque videos on dinosaur guides. They will help with yes, kind of like expedition type events. So they will be helping host those and bring people on board. Get people excited for certain playables, hopefully focusing on the more profile-specific events where we try to bring traction to other species. And we will be looking at trail guides for bringing on naturalists. However, we did have a meeting today, and we're kind of changing that structure around a little bit. All I can say is keep your eye out for the events channel in the next coming days if you have ever had interest of being a naturalist. Camptosaurus and Taco, why are they allowed to be so aggressive? It's just their profile, man. And we buffed Campto a little bit to accommodate for their profile, so they can actually put the bite behind their bark. We can't make every small creature timid and skittish. It might be a little more realistic for smaller things to be a little more skittish, but then you have things like honey badgers. Those things are tiny, but they will not hesitate to beat something up if they have to. Other species of like minks and stuff as well will do that too. It's just profile diversity, just to make small things more appealing and interesting. Sometimes people like to be territorial and aggressive. Oh yeah, Rory said it. Makes, yeah. Small dogs have reason, yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a different comparison, I feel. It's not in a small dog's nature to be aggressive. When's the Isle server dropping? Haha, I don't know. I'm so busy with PTR and work, and I'm moving houses right now. There's a lot going on. I haven't really thought about it too much. The urge to rate profiles will not cease, bro. Unleash me. Real. Yeah, these are mammals. These are dinosaurs. We don't know nothing about how they might have behaved. Thank you. I hope it goes well. I've moved like 13 times, so I'm not really too worried about it. Was that a snake? I thought we removed snakes. What was that? I am nomadic by profile. Until I move to Europe, and then I'll be sedentary. Where is this thing? Serious question. Are there any updates on the application? Oh, that's a turtle! They hiss? Okay. Applications making it harder to get into PTR. Yes! I'm actually going to be trying to work on that after this shutdown, and this is what I think we're going to do. I think we're going to close down the servers for a little while, and I'm going to ping all of the campers and tell campers that they need to re-register by a certain date, because we still have people that haven't registered. Like, we still have people that are coming in and still making their check-in tickets because they haven't played on PTR in a while. So we're still getting those registration tickets. I'm going to make a deadline and say, hey, after this date, you no longer can be re-registered, because it's just extra work on check-in, but also so much has changed, and so much is going to be changing, and we are kind of re-evaluating PTR. people have been saying, like, you know, like, we advertise it as beginner friendly, and, like, yeah, on one hand we're beginner friendly just because our profiles are kind of easy to digest, and the rules, like, once you get used to them, the rules are okay and everything. It's not too hard to play on PTR. However, we're adding more systems and we're changing some stuff around, and we're not gonna be hardcore, but we're not beginner. We're gonna be more of like an intermediate realism server. So giving campers a deadline saying, hey, re-register by this date, otherwise you have to reapply, and then we're making our application much harder. Not like we expect you to write a whole essay or anything, but the questions are going to be more so like, you know, your dinosaur is injured after a fight, like, how do you play off this injury? You know, you are a lone herbivore and you are approached by 4 carnivores, like, what is your immediate reaction? Do you flee? Do you fight? Like, what's going on there? You know, like, by profile, you are a sedentary creature. You've been in the area for 15 minutes and you're challenged by a territorial group, like, what's your reaction? You know, stuff like that. So kind of just changing some profile stuff. Yep, I agree with that, Mona. And it's funny, because we get a lot of questions, like, in the questions channel. It's like, can Rex hunt during the day? Can Iggy females challenge males for herd rights and, like, stuff like that? And it's just like, oh, you know, if you read the profile, the answers would be there. I honestly kind of want to tell admins to stop answering questions like that. But that's neither here nor there. Yes, we're talking about raising the bar for applications. Sorry, I missed that. I was running around. Are there mods for the stream chat? Yeah, there's mods for the stream chat. I just don't have any here right now. And it's a small stream, so I can handle it all by my lonesome. Whoa. That's cool. Just because they're banned, they can chill, they can hang out, they can talk. They're just being goobers. Goobers in my chat. Silly goofy guys. Oh my god. Wow, no fall damage. I'm crazy. It's time to nap. Make Utahs ignore forfeits during territory challenge and let them kill more things? Are you insane? What? How did I not break a leg? I'm / god moded. I always play with / god mode. That's how I win all my fights. I'm joking, by the way. I don't know, if you can't tell I'm serious, I am joking. I think I have to throw that in there for legal reasons, otherwise, I think I will get killed. What did Rory say? That was genius. Rory saying something genius? That's crazy. Just kidding. I can't find it. I'm bored. You guys want to see something? You guys want to see something cool? Let me see if I can get a test server up and I will show you something. I will see if I can get the test server up and I will show you something that we are working on. Actually, hold on. It's not gonna be a PT mod. It will not be a PT mod. Let me grab. Knives, what do you plan to do for realistic fractures? Do you think it's realistic for animals to walk off Tyrannosaurus Rex crushing bites or high falls in mere seconds? I do not. However, I don't want to make Rex super oppressive. I don't think anything should have an instant kill button, which Bone Break pretty much is an instant kill button. You get your leg broken and you immediately just get shredded, especially like something like an Apex. That's why Rex is the ambush predator. That's why it's nocturnal. That was kind of like the limits that we set on the profile, so it wouldn't have an instant kill button. I do think that Rex can benefit from like maybe some profile changes or maybe some like slight stat boosts or something, but I don't want to change it too much. I don't want Apexes to just like rule the entire server, especially since they're getting mono pairs and they'll be able to hunt huge duos together and apodos and stuff. Stream some Isle Troodon? Bro. I don't think I can. Would you ever add other modded dinosaurs or not in case said mod gets bugged or something? It's something that I would consider. We would have to get it approved by Not and Kel. Something I would love to see on PTR would be Pachyrhino. Pachyrhino is very cool. I would like to see Pachy. Let's see. Can you teach me Isle Troodon? I don't know how I feel about launching the Isle. I don't know how I feel about touching that game right now. I don't know the map. It's not that I don't want to launch an Isle server, it's just I don't have the time for it right now. Let me see if I can get the UGC. Never mind, I can't show you guys the early access mod stuff. However, I can answer questions about it. I will speak about it a little bit more openly in this stream with you guys. In relation to the PTR Tidbits mod. Buff Torvo. Torvo doesn't need a buff. Torvo is just fine where it's at. I'll prove it. Oh. Hold on. This doesn't matter. Guys, I can't die on this Torvo. If I die on this Torvo, I think Not will kill me. Wait. Okay. What am I most excited to add to the PTR Tidbits mod are sicknesses. I'm really excited for our sicknesses. I'm also excited for a potential territory system. That will be really cool. I think we've kind of been thinking about it. We think there's a way that you can actually like claim territory or like scratch trees and stuff. So that's something I hope we can add. It'll take a lot of work, but hopefully, I'm hopeful for that. I think we can add infections as well. I think we can make it so if you hit a certain point in a fight, you get to like heavy wounds or something, you might receive a very small chance to contract an infection. And if you don't heal off your infection, you'll die. However, if you heal off your infection, you'll live. And I think we can make it to where, you know, you need to like bathe in water to get rid of the infection. That would be cool. Is this the same Torvo from last stream? No, this is not the same Torvo. I don't know what happened to that Torvo. I probably died or something. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know this area. I think you should add mandatory lifespans. That would be cool. Oh, let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you something. We think we can add a relationship system to where if you want to court somebody, like for a strong pair profile, because right now we're running into the issue where people are playing strong bonded dinosaurs, but like what they're doing is they're not actually going through the courtship, they're not actually going through the bonding process, they're immediately getting into a group. They're like, oh, here's our trophy, let's go have babies right now. It's our first time we have ever met, and I am now egnant. We noticed that people are doing that a lot, and they're not actually taking the time to bond and be like, hey, I want to spend my life with this dinosaur. This dinosaur fits my dinosaur, and this is cool. So we think we can add a system where they like type in chat, they're like, you know, /court, and then they put like an Alderaan ID, and then it starts a timer, and the more time you spend with somebody, the more your bond goes up. And then once you reach a certain number of hours, it'll send a log, and it'll say, hey, this person is bonded with this person, and that way we can check if nests are legal. So that would be cool. And we put that on profiles like Utah and Rex and stuff, just so people are required to go through a bonding process before they are able to nest. How will ticks and parasites work? Is it going to be a visual effect, like fracture or bleed? Let me just see if I can. Okay, hold on. Let me lock in real quick. I don't stream much, so I don't really know what I'm trying to show here. But I think I can add like an overlay and like add an image. Let me see. Has file. Okay. Let me add this. Okay. So when you get ticks, you'll get a little tick status on your screen like that. And that'll show you when you have a tick. So other players won't see like ticks hanging off of your body or anything. Unfortunately, that's not something we can do right now. But you will get a tick status, so you will know when you receive a tick. You will have a higher chance of receiving ticks when you are traveling through areas with thick foliage. So think of dense forest biomes or maybe woodlands. So traveling through there, you'll have a higher chance of contraction. Otherwise, you know, I mean, ticks still exist in other parts of the map, of course. So you'll still have a chance of receiving them from there. But you can get up to 3 ticks at a time. And once you get 3 ticks, you maybe start to feel a little sick. You'll feel a little weaker. You're going to be itchy. You're going to be wanting to rub against trees and everything. There are going to be 2 ways to get rid of ticks, but I'm not telling you. And actually, I'm not telling anybody. And the reason I'm not telling anybody is because I want people to figure it out. If they die, they die. That's part of life. It's going to be natural. Figure it out. I'm considering making it like a rule break to tell people what the cures of sicknesses and ailments are. And the reason why is because dinosaurs didn't know. They don't know how to heal their sicknesses. They don't know how to get rid of things. So figure it out in game. Go explore. Go try everything you can. Think, what would an animal do? Maybe do a little bit of research. How do animals deal with parasites on their bodies? How do creatures get rid of like ectoparasites and stuff like that. I don't think I'm gonna tell anybody because I think it would be more fun. I regret telling people where the mauled timer starts. I regret telling people how that starts. So I don't think I'm gonna tell you guys about sicknesses because it'll be funny. Will it be a thing that you can choose? Can you contract it from your environments? You will not be able to choose it. If you get sick, you get sick. It's just something you have to deal with. It's not going to be avoidable. What is holding you back from the Isle Realism server? Literally just time constraints. PTR takes a lot of my time and energy right now. I also am an adult person. I work 40 hours a week. I have a partner. I have pets. I work out. I do other things in my life. I can't. Right now, I just don't have the time for multiple servers. However, I would love an Isle server. And no, it wouldn't be a PT branch. It would be my own server that I'm making with a friend. We used to moderate on an Isle server in the past. And he's a really good friend of mine. And he kind of taught me everything I know about server management. So if I did ever make an Isle server, it would be with him. And it would be the best Isle server. It would be awesome. Seems like that would be hard to keep track of, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, if people say it in chat, we would just delete their comment and we would say, hey, don't tell people that. We're not going to be stalking people's in-game chats, but if you're in a, like, Iggy herd and something and you have parasites and you're like, help, how do I get rid of my parasites? And somebody, like, says, just do this. Just tell us. And we'll say, hey, don't do that. That would suck. That's another thing. We're adding ticks. We're adding parasites. Let me show you guys the parasites icon because it's so awesome. It's so cool. Let me show you guys parasites. That's what parasites look like. Parasites are something that we're adding, and then we're also adding reptile rot, which is going to be called pyrolysis, and that's something you can contract during the cold season. Are there any upcoming changes for Torvo? No. I think Torvo's fine where it's at. The profile was requested to be the way it is by Nautilus, because it's one of his favorite dinosaurs, and he wanted it to be a certain way, so we made it that way. And I like where it's at. I just realized I'm hanging out in a disliked biome. Guys, I can't play a PTR on the stream. I get distracted. Maybe I should play the Isle. Can I pester you about your thoughts about seasonal nesting? Because I am obsessed with it. We're doing it. We are adding seasonal nesting. It is happening. Woohoo! Some profiles might just have 1 season. Some profiles might have 2 seasons. It just depends on what the writer wants for it. Are you adding more stuff for the seasons? I love cold season so far. Yes, with time. We would like to add more stuff to the profiles for the seasons. Right now we are working on complete profile overhauls. So we're a little less focused on cold season specific behavior and more so focused on rewrites and making things a little bit more interesting. I've worked on Isle Realism before. I know a lot about the Arrrr resources. Message me if you need help. Yeah. Maybe. I might reach out. I'm pretty good with the the Isle configs. Granted, I haven't played the Isle in like 2 years. I have not really looked at the new map. I haven't looked at any of the new playables. However, I did moderate for an Evrima server about like 4 or 5 years ago, so should be okay in that regard. Not a fan of the potential rule break part, but pretty neat system. We just want to avoid people giving people the cure, because what's the fun in Discovery if you can just ask for it? Why does Solar still have my 90% of the chat? It was like this last stream too. I don't know why. I can't do a PTR stream without the Solar still high mind. Is there an equal amount of babies for each season so species who rely on them may still eat? What do you mean? I think I understand your question. In that case, it'll be less of like, you know, they have, for example, let's say Torvo has 3 during wet season, 3 during dry season, none during cold season. It won't be anything like that. There will still be variation in output, but certain dinosaurs might have more babies in certain seasons, whereas others will have less. What profiles are being worked on, if you can say that is? I will tell you what I am working on. I'm not going to tell you what else is being worked on, because that is the naturalists. If they want to tell, they can tell, but I will tell you mine. Rex is going to be monogamous. They're going to have mono pairs. They're not going to be hunting together. That would be way too oppressive, but they can hunt apex duos together, or apodos and stuff. So that'll be cool for Rex. Dynon is getting a slight rework. I'm not reworking their entire profile. I did a poll to see if people wanted a rewrite, or if they wanted like or keep it as is, and people voted for a rewrite, but in the thread they were just saying like, we like the profile, we just wish that the genders could be together, and we wish it was like more of a certain way. So I am going to make Dynon relatively the same, but I'm going to make it to where they can group together regardless of gender. I'm also changing up their dimorphism. Kai is getting rewritten. Sachi is going to get a rewrite. Yoon, I'm pretty satisfied with Yoon as is. I added their bullfighting back. I might give them all biomes, but I'm not sure. And Latin, I am fine with Latin where it's at. I'm just going to make their hierarchy a little bit more clear, because people don't really roleplay the hierarchy. I think the hierarchy is just forgotten about in their profile, so I'm going to make it a little more obvious. And a lot of the other profiles are getting updates, but those are just mine. Is Argent getting any stat changes? Maybe. Apodo got a combat weight buff, so Argent might be due for one. We just have to do more testing. Latin already has a hierarchy. People just don't play it, man. People don't realize that there's a hierarchy. Let me show you guys a different picture. That is our stage 1 infection for psoriasis. I'm not showing you guys anything else. I think I've teased enough. Maybe. Okay, I'll show you one more. There's stage 2. I'm so excited for the sicknesses. I think it's going to be really cool. Oh yeah, there's going to be parasites. There's 3 ways that you can contract parasites. People might have guesses. And then there's going to be the cold season sickness, which is just like flu and stuff. Do you have any plans for stuff to add, change about wet season, dry season? Not really. Wet season, dry season is like, you know, wet season there's more food. Dry season there's a little bit less food, less water. Cold season is just super brutal. If you've got no pairs and just singles or related, will that hierarchy be expanded on the extended profile? It's lead pair or just like the most experienced. Lead pairs are the most coveted position. Generally, if there's no lead pair, they're just kind of like pretty gregarious and they just hang out together. But it usually falls to the most experienced. Overheating for dry season? Yeah, there's just not really a way to play it out very well. I need to get out of here. But the illnesses and stuff that we're adding are seasonal based. So during the wet season you have ticks, during the dry season you have parasites, and during the cold season you have psoriasis. So it's something to look forward to with each season. The tricky part is that psoriasis is contagious. So if somebody logs on during the dry season where we have parasites active, but they also have psoriasis, there could be like a minor psoriasis outbreak during the dry season, so it's a little strange. How are you walking here without seeing anybody? I am playing in single player. I don't know. What is that? That red icon. Cold season feels completely dry. Wait, well, cold season completely dry feels off to me, especially with all the rain. It doesn't rain during cold season. It just snows and it's foggy. So the water is meant to be like frozen over. It only rains during the wet season. I mean, it rains during the dry season as well, but... well, there's something. If you saw rain, it was very likely just for a brief moment. We have the config set to evaporate all of their weather and just make it rain and fog constantly. We usually do snow during Christmas. This will be the second Christmas we've had on PTR, I think. Or will it be third? I think it'll be the third because it'll be released like mid-year 2 years ago. I like PTR, but right now it feels a little stagnant, the server does at the moment. So we're hoping to break out of the content drought with new profile changes and stuff like that. New mod stuff. Hopefully PTR tidbits will bring people back to the server a little bit. Just give it some life. I like the mauled. I think it's great. I think it's realistic because, you know, if you're mauled, you reach a certain point in a hunt, you're kind of out of commission. I might lower the timer on mauled. And the sicknesses and infections and stuff like that will make people actually roleplay a little more seriously. I can't trust people to roleplay. I can't trust people to use body language and actually act like an animal, so I'm just forcing it on them with a mod. That's kind of the plan with that. Will we have fires again this dry season? The fires were fun. Yeah, I like doing the fires. Oh, lovely. something up real quick. Hi Mona, thank you for popping in. Have fun with Paki. He doesn't seem too concerned with me. Oh. My bleed's not too bad. I'm fine to run. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm hungry. Mike does have a lot of stam. Yeah. Wish there was a way to mod in more emotes. Such a pain when certain creatures don't have a look emote. Yeah, I wish so too. Unfortunately, it requires animators. I don't think vanilla dinosaurs can really be adjusted at the moment as well. They can be adjusted with like skin packs and stuff, but you can't actually like add animations to them. Lower the timer, give speed boost until mod procs for adrenaline reasons. Yeah, that's what people were suggesting, and I would be down with that. I think if I changed the timer, I don't think I would tell people the new time, and I don't think I would tell people what I changed the health to. Just because, unfortunately, I've seen... It's not, I mean, like, nothing bad against it or anything. It's just, like, kind of defeats the point a little bit, but I have seen people go to their like dedicated servers and tell people like, hey, make sure that you heal cycle before you hit this point. And it's like, that's not a rule break or anything, but it's like, I don't know, it feels a little strange to me. I won that fight considering how you're in. Yeah, but I'm still hungry. I made a point, but I'm still hungry. Hi, Curly. Wish you guys could go into Woodlands. Yeah. GP is really pretty. I like what they did to it. I wish they would change the name. It's no longer Plains. I wish we could make GP like half split forest, half split plains, but just wouldn't make any sense, and it would be difficult for players to know where certain things begin, so it's just good to keep it one big POI, but it's just like, I don't know. Small grape. Maybe I'll claim GP as territory. Has there been any sneak peeks about Dynon grouping, or is that not shared just yet? There has not been sneak peeks, but I am in a sharing mood, so I can share Dynon. I will share their dimorphism. I don't think I will share their grouping stuff. Not too much is changing with grouping. I'm keeping their profile largely the same, but I am going to find a way for males and females to group together. Dynon is getting changed to behavioral dimorphism, so no longer will it be bright males, dull females. They will have behavioral dimorphism or subspecies dimorphism. I haven't decided, but I think I would like both females to still be a little bulkier because they are going to be the decision makers of the group. So I would like them to maybe be like the bald-headed subspecies, or I might just make Dynon males small. Like have them locked behind our bot so they shrink like Hat's males do. I don't know. Or they'll have behavior, like males do this, females do this. Haven't fully decided what I'm gonna do yet. Oh. Behavioral could be cool. And then I am also thinking so what I'm gonna do for their colors, because I think I'm not gonna make colors really matter, is I think it's a cool idea, especially now that Dynon has extra skins. With the new skin pack mod that we have, I think I'm going to make it so during the dry season, they are all dull. All Dynons are dull during the dry season just because of the weather, lack of resources. They're not really taking care of their feathers very much. They're a little bit duller. And then during the wet season, they're going to all be very vibrant, very colorful, and during the cold season, they're going to have very pale coats. I think it would be really cool to have seasonal feather change, because we see that a lot in certain animals, so I think it would be cool to play out. Small male Dynon would be funny, but they're the weakest dino in PTR. We would adjust the stats so they're the same as their female counterparts. It would just be a visual aesthetic sort of thing. Kind of similar to hats. there be a mutation bot or system for mutations? No. Anthrax has that, and it's cool, but I also know it's a pain in the ass to moderate, so we're not gonna like limit albinism or anything. Albinism is already kind of limited now that they are stat debuffs. You play an albino creature, you are weaker. If you want to deal with that, you deal with it. It's no longer just an aesthetic. Yeah. It would be fun. Seasonal stuff is good. Yeah, it's cool. I don't know if I'm gonna claim GP, I might. Little Latin, you are going to get bitten. I think some of the piebald skins in the mod could be treated as albino or sickly. Some of them look really albino with just a splash of color here or there. I mean, if they look albino to you, treat it as albino. If they can be reasonably mistaken, yes, treat them as albino. Piebaldism itself isn't sickly by nature, but if they look albino, yeah. Oh. Little guy. The way that I'm gonna chase this Latin away when it's older is gonna be very funny. Oh. That's what I think it is. Now those are rare. Nights are long. They feel long. They're equal in the config. Actually, daytime is 5 minutes longer in the config. It's been enough of Mike going, when is Mike gonna end? It's funny, if you play a diurnal creature, nights feel like they take very long, but if you play a nocturnal creature, it feels like they're not long enough. I like the nights. I made it to where there's like 4 days and 4 nights in a restart, and I think that's good. Would Aloe get a buff of some sort in the future? Solo Aloe is hard. Most solo larges can be a bit difficult. I was playing Dasp today and I got shredded like paper. By Mike, of all things. I know Aloe is getting some changes. I don't know exactly what they are, but if it's deemed necessary, I'm sure they'll get some stat buffs. What do you want to do with Microraptor when it releases? Will it be similar to Ramp? I don't know. We have Caesar riding Microraptor. I actually don't know too much about it right now. I haven't really asked. I know, their footsteps are so loud. Stem drain is miserable. Oof. I think there's a cave on the side of this wall, I'm just not sure where it is. Or maybe I'm crazy. Or why would you say that? Now I'm doomed to die to a Rex in my sleep. I would love if we could do flash floods. I just don't know how that would turn out. Unfortunately, there's not like a tide system like in Bob. That's what I love about Bob. Their weather is just so in-depth and good. So small. I love Latin. Very cute. I'm gonna get rid of this picture. What is that in the distance? Is that a TT? I think I will be ending stream soon. I want to do streams more often, and there's changes upcoming and whatnot. Could be an Iggy. Yeah. Flash floods would be so cool. I just don't know how we would do it in game. There's no item or anything we can do with the water, really. Alrighty, chat. I'm gonna end stream. am going to try to stream a little more often, just to go through changes with you guys and ask for community opinion and stuff. I hope all of you have a good rest of your night. I hope to see you around more. Pick up the stream roll if you haven't.